The Democratic National Committee just got hacked, and among the leaked documents is their 237-page report on Donald Trump. Oops. Who did the deed, and how will this affect Hillary Clinton's campaign for president? In addition, what the hell is going on between Saudi Arabia and the United Nations, and how did the Saudis get their hands on American weapons? This is The Loop. On Tuesday, the Washington Post reported that 2 teams of Russian hackers broke through the DNC's firewall and stole sensitive documents, including the DNC's 237-page report on Donald Trump and how to attack him in the general election. The report is chock full of fun attack narratives, like Donald Trump is a bad businessman, Donald Trump is a liar, and Donald Trump's foreign policy can make America an enemy of the world. Collect them all. You can check out the report for yourself in the description below. Now, much has been made of this report getting leaked, but it's about 6 months old and is all public knowledge, just compiled into something usable by the Democrats. What's more important are the other documents that have been leaked. Now, the day after the Post reported that those wacky Russians are at it again, their words, not mine, a hacker named Guccifer 2.0 came forward and said, "Hey, you, world, that's bullshit. I hacked the DNC and I can prove it." Now, Guccifer sounds like a liquor made from old Ed Hardy shirts, but the name is notable because the original Guccifer claimed to have repeatedly hacked into Hillary Clinton's email server just last month. To prove his Guccifer Guccifer 2.0 posted a bunch of other documents allegedly from the DNC servers, including lists of major DNC donors and a list of foreign policy plans and promises intended for the beginning of President Obama's first term back in 2008. The DNC has yet to deny the authenticity of any of these items, and the hacker claims to have even more documents to leak. What could they be? I'm personally hoping for Debbie Wasserman Schultz's Hanukkah list. Pretty please, Guccifer 2.0, just give me that, please. Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and Saudi Arabia are in open conflict after he was reportedly pressured into removing Saudi Arabia from the UN's blacklist of children's human rights violators. This came just 1 week after he put them there for allegedly being the source of 60% of child deaths in Yemen, the country that they're currently invading. The backlash is similar to when you break up with your abusive spouse and then take them back 1 week later, except that in this case, your abusive spouse is allegedly responsible for the deaths of 510 children in 2015 alone. So let's back up here. What's going on? A group of rebels called the Houthis took the pro-Saudi Arabia government out of power in January of 2015. 2 months later, in March, Saudi Arabia declared war on the newly installed Houthi government. The Saudi king said, "A Saudi Arabia-led alliance is willing to wage a military campaign against Houthi rebels in Yemen for as long as it takes to defeat the Iranian-backed group that has forced the country's president to flee." The war in Yemen has been ongoing ever since, which we'd remember if we didn't have so many super cool superhero movies to go see. Remember Deadpool? In Yemen, there are actual pools filled with the dead, some 6,000 people, half of them civilians, in just the first year since the war began. In addition, as an American, I'd love to know why American-made cluster bombs are being used by the Saudi military on densely populated areas in Yemen, an act which is widely considered a war crime. So how did American weapons wind up in the hands of the Saudis? Well, Saudi Arabia is one of America's closest allies, mostly because of our need for their oil reserves. In 2015, the United States imported 1.06 million barrels of Saudi oil per day. In return, we sell them weapons. We're such a cute couple, always giving each other gifts that make us smile. They sell us oil, and we've sold them potentially $42 billion worth of weapons since 2012, according to a Congress Research Service report. Ah, true love. That relationship is precisely why America is staying squarely out of the ongoing conflict, even though our weapons are being used in the bombings of schools and hospitals. Which brings us back to Ban Ki-moon and the United Nations. Originally, he claimed that he removed Saudi Arabia from the blacklist because they said that the UN report on Yemen that put them on the list in the first place was too one-sided, which sounds exactly what a country accused of the murder of children would say. However, in a decidedly undiplomatic fashion, Ban Ki-moon went public last Thursday, letting the world know that Saudi Arabia placed, quote, undue pressure on him to pull their nation off the blacklist. Ooh! Oh shit! Ban Ki-moon called them out! That's why you don't with the UN. In all seriousness, this is a big deal. According to Ban Ki-moon, Saudi Arabia threatened, quote, full rupture with the United Nations, which would pull hundreds of millions of dollars of Saudi money out of humanitarian aid programs around the world. That's a serious threat, one that Secretary General Moon couldn't ignore, as he said, quote, millions of other children would suffer grievously if, as was suggested to me, countries would defund many UN programs. Children already at risk in Palestine, South Sudan, Syria, Yemen, and so many other places would fall further into despair. To which, of course, Saudi Arabia's UN ambassador, Abdallah al-Mualimi, responded by saying that these were, quote, rumors that were forwarded to damage Saudi Arabia's reputation. Damage your Reputation? What sterling Saudi reputation do you speak of, Ambassador? You mean your reputation as a nation that regularly holds political dissidents without trial for months or even years? Or do you mean your reputation as a country that in 2014 executed 31 people for nonviolent crimes, including one man executed for sorcery? No, of course, you're talking about your reputation as the country where women are forbidden to drive and cannot marry or get a passport without permission from a male guardian. Oh, okay, cool. I thought you were talking about your reputation as the country that sentenced blogger Raif Badawi to 10 years in prison and 1,000 lashes for, quote, insulting Islam. Thank goodness we're not talking about that. That would just be awkward. It's all true. So now I want to hear from you. How do you feel about the DNC hack? Do you worry about what it's going to do to Hillary Clinton's campaign? Do you think it's going to benefit Donald Trump? And how do you feel about what's going on between the UN and Saudi Arabia? Let me know down in the comments below. Like this video, and until next time, guys, I'm Matt Lieberman, and you're in the loop. Thanks for watching.
Oh, that is so unnecessary.
Oh no, TH. Food. Oh, the girls are gonna eat our
This is the worst version of everything you just said.
Yeah.